This is worse than we thought. We have the latest updates into our Darius Washington's Achilles injury that he suffered earlier this week and what this means going forward into the 2025 season. We bring you those updates coming up right here, right now on Ravens Digest. Welcome to the show. For those of you who are new here, my name is Bryce Parker. I will be your host for today. And for starters, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, but especially subscribe. You never know when you can be the first 50 subscribers to an up-and-coming YouTube channel that covers your favorite football team. We bring you everything you need to know, from updates to trades to rumors to highlights to analysis. Everything you need to know about the Baltimore Ravens, we'll let you know right here, right now. So let's get started. Earlier this week, Ravens had off-season conditioning at their facility. Our Darius Washington was one of the participants. He went down non-contact during a conditioning drill. There was speculation if it was an ankle injury, if it could have been an Achilles strain, a calf strain, or anything like that. At best, we were hoping for that he could be ready for the 2024 season. But unfortunately, the Baltimore Ravens did confirm through an MRI earlier this week that it was a complete Achilles tear. Now, we don't know if our Darius Washington has had surgery yet or when he will have surgery, but we do know that we are expecting this Achilles tear to either have him miss most of this 2025 season or all of the season. You know, we can hope that if the Ravens go to the playoffs and make a deep run like we expect them to make, that he can possibly make a return, but we do know that the Achilles are tricky. We try not to have people come back too early. So on the safe side, we can't expect that we're unfortunately not going to see our Darius Washington for the rest of the season, which is very unfortunate for a player who had a breakout season in 2024, who added so much relief to this defense. So let's get into exactly what he brought to this team in 2024. So 2024, he did not start the season right away. The Ravens actually, remember, he had some struggles on the defensive unit. They were the worst passing unit almost halfway through the season. But our Darius Washington was actually the piece and the catalyst that was able to help turn this defense around. He was inserted into the starting lineup midway through the season. He played that kind of free safety, strong safety hybrid position between him and Kyle Hamilton. He actually he ended the season with 64 total tackles. And again, this is just with him playing half of the season. 64 total tackles, 45 of those were solo, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 2 INTs, and 8 pass breakups. And he came to this lineup and immediately became a game changer and became somebody who was very productive for this defense. Again, he had a breakout season playing beside Kyle Hamilton. You're playing beside the best safety in the league. You come in and you're able to still have decent production that you can actually line up with other players in the league. That's amazing to say. Let me get out the shade real quick. Sorry, guys. But yeah, breakout season. He brought a lot of physicality to this defense. He helped them go from last to first. Again, this was the last defense last year against the pass. And going into this, and when the season ended, they were one of the most feared defenses that you did not want to pass on, that you were trying to actually figure out how to run the ball on, because you knew that they had guys on the back end that were making plays. And our Darius Washington was a catalyst, the literal catalyst. You can see from the stats that when he was inserted into the starting lineup, he made a change. And also it allowed for Kyle Hamilton to actually play freer in Zach Orr's defense. We know that Kyle Hamilton likes to move around. We know that Zach Orr likes to move him from the deep level. They like to move him to the slot. They like to move him on blitzes. They like to just do a lot of things because he is that Swiss Army knife piece. And in the beginning of the season, the Ravens weren't able to do that because they didn't have another guy on the back end who could hold things down. They were able to play well together. They were able to mesh. They were able to be a cohesive and concise unit on the back end. So to know that going into this 2025 season, you're not gonna have a guy like our Darius Washington for at least most of the season, it's a tragic loss. So as we go into this 2025 season, what is this outlook going to look like for the Baltimore Ravens? What are they going to try to do? What are going to be some of the moves? How are they going to scheme, do this scheme-wise? I'll tell you that right now. So step one is, hindsight is always 2020. We knew that them drafting Malachi Starks in the first round was a good move, but this is a pivotal move because now you do have somebody who can step in and be a replacement for Darius Washington. You have Malachi Starks who fits the build, on paper physically more. But now we expected Malachi Starks to step in and have a key role in his rookie season. But now he's going to have to actually step in on day one and be a very big contributor to a team who has Super Bowl aspirations. I mean, at this point, it's really Super Bowl or bust for the Ravens. And so Malachi Starks is going to be a lot of pressure on him to make the moves necessary for this team to be where they need to be. Next, you're going to have to expect them to, get some safety depth, actually. You're going to try to see them get some vet guys in the offseason for experience, for depth. You would have thought that Malachi Starks would have been depth. You would have thought that the guys that they had, some of the moves they made in the offseason, some of the guys they got in, the NFL draft would have been enough going into the season. Now we have our Darius Washington down, who has shown that he can be a plus guy in this National Football League. You're going to have to probably find something in free agency just to kind of get back where you were, get to the things that you wanted. Also, scheme-wise, I don't really think this is going to change too much. I don't really think this is going to change too much with the scheme. You do have Starks who can do a lot of the things that Washington was doing from a scheme fit, so that you can still have Hamilton, come up, and you can still have Hamilton, blitz, guard guys in the slot. You can play 1 high, 2 high. You can play man. You can play zone. So I do believe that Starks is going to be this piece that's going to hold this team together and actually push them to where they need to be. And then lastly, it's going to be a key on next offseason of what is going to happen with our Darius Washington. There were some inklings and some rumors that the team was going to move on from Washington actually this offseason because he was becoming this current offseason right now, because of his status as as a free agent going into the 2026 season. So now, him coming off an injury, let's say he does not play the entire season, and let's say that Malachi Starks comes in and actually becomes a starter in this league and has that Kyle Hamilton type of potential, you could see in the future our Darius Washington be moved, and that last playoff game against Buffalo could have been his last game in the purple and black. I hope not. I hope they find a way to keep him. Hope they find a way to scheme all of them in this back end, because I do think it can be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful back end. I think this is probably the best unit in the National Football League, and they're a young unit that's only going to get better. We made an earlier video about Nate Wiggins and the things that he was able to do in his rookie year, and how I believe that he'll have a breakout season. I believe I believe that Malachi Starks will do that same thing, but I hope that we can all keep this unit together as well. But we will see. We're going to have to wait what's going to happen, not only just with this season, but next offseason is going to be very pivotal to see who's going to be kept where, who's going to get paid, who's going to not get paid, and then the moves that they're going to make. But if Eric DeCosta has shown us anything, is that he's a smart GM that makes the right moves at the right times and gets the personnel in the building that we need. So thank you so much for joining us today. Again, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you comment. If you like the video, tell us in the comments what you think is going to happen with our Darius Washington's future. What moves do you think the Ravens should make in this offseason? And then next offseason, do you think that our Darius Washington does deserve an extension, a signing, a next contract with the purple and black? Let us know. We'll comment, we'll subscribe, we'll comment, we will respond, and who knows, we could mention you in the next video. So again, thank you so much for joining us today, and as always, go Flock.